Alright, so I'll admit I'm a sucker for crossovers with franchises that I really like. And normally, it actually works out pretty good for me. I may end up enjoying something that I wouldn't have tried, at least at this point, otherwise. Or at the very least, I didn't really feel like it was a bad waste of time or anything. Yakuza, like Dragon crossovers, though, have proven to be an exception, something to be a little more careful about. First, you got that Amazon series, and now you've got this. This video is going to be on with some pre-recorded footage here in the background. I know back in the Wii era, we used to call certain games shovelware, where they seem to have a subpar presentation and or gameplay, to put it lightly. I don't know if there's terminology for, the phone game equivalent, but I feel like this fits into that. From first checking out the store page for it to, playing it for almost a week. And it, unfortunately for me, wasn't, a hidden gem, which I know does happen from time to time. So honestly, I have a hard time even necessarily calling this a game, considering its core loop pretty much consists of select option, wait so much amount of time, option then completes, rinse and repeat, and that's it. You've pretty much experienced everything. I have actually in the past played one game like this, quote unquote game, being The Simpsons Tapped Out, and this was a really long time ago. Like, I remember playing it on my tablet in high school over 10 years ago. But that game was able to keep me engaged mainly because it was The Simpsons and you were curious about what references they may make in late game items. And it just had charm for, someone who's a fan of the series, which I am. This is almost like a generic version of that, which means it lost the only appeal it really had. There are some mini games outside of the core loop, but I feel like I've played these exact mini games in other free-to-play gacha games. Like there was one, I guess you would kind of call it a shoot 'em up, where you're from an isometric perspective. You automatically shoot, and you just kind of have to move around, avoid enemies, yet make sure they're in your range when you attack. And you get upgrades that you then select as you go along. There was that and this kind of tile matching thing, and they were fine, but like I said, it's not unique to this game. Like I said, I'm sure this exists in similar games, and I don't know who did it first, but I'm sure these aren't new concepts for anyone either. Oh, and then you got this mess of a screen I just switched to in the gameplay. I don't even know really what it is. I just followed what the menu told me to do and mostly failed. I assume it, compares some sort of power level from your regular activities while you wait for the event to go back and forth with no interactivity or anything. This whole game's UI, though, is just, it felt messy to me. Like, there is a story mode, which pretty much is level up this stuff earn a certain power level, complete some of these overworld things. And then after you do all of that, it'll give you like a bit of a story. But then it took me much longer than it should have to figure out where to go to see what those missions were. Yet I probably found at least a handful of storefronts while I was looking for it. And there was another thing too where there was like another menu. And the reason I was looking for it is because it is kind of connected to the story. I thought that's maybe where I had to go to see the missions. But it's pretty much just character bios in that. And I wound up not finding that at all until like another few solid days. I just happened to stumble upon it again. It's not even like there was a good reason for it to be inconvenient to access, because you got rewards for unlocking new characters who appeared in the story in that bios section. So the game is rough, but can the Yakuza Like a Dragon content save it? No. The Yakuza Like a Dragon content was pretty much the same thing. More storefronts. I remember probably my favorite memory of this game is when I just bursted out laughing seeing what they were charging for one of the characters to be recruited. I don't even remember how much it was. I just remember it was ridiculous. I wonder if I open it again here with in the footage that's playing. But yeah, there were some other challenges. You know, build this, level up this, the usual stuff. There was occasionally some dialogue, side story-ish content for this game with Ichiban. But honestly, I don't even know what triggered it. It just would sometimes randomly be like, hey, Ichiban has something to say. Or I would just kind of notice him on the map with an icon above his head. I don't know, maybe this is just all me. I mean, I will say I did look, and this game's been around for a while. Like on the store, there was events from like 3-4 years ago, maybe more. This isn't even their first Yakuza crossover. They had an earlier one that they were also rerunning some stuff. Oh, here's that puzzle matching minigame I mentioned earlier. But actually that event was before I had even played Zero and gotten into the series. So I guess it must be sustainable and have an audience, which, you know, good for you. This really isn't my thing. And how I even went on the Play Store, and I don't know if it's a sequel or a spin-off, but the icon, I mean, it looks similar. I think it's pretty... Maybe it's the main character from this game, or maybe they're just reusing the art of the main character. But they're there on that other Mafia game they have too. So, yeah, I paused my whole going back to Dave the Diver to play the Yakuza Like a Dragon DLC for this. So hopefully that'll be the first time it'll go alright for this series for me. I think it will, though. Dave the Diver is pretty good. You're going with something established that I already liked as opposed to trying something completely new.